Welcome to 3D.sk, human photo reference for 3D artists and game developers. On this site you can find thousands of images, from studio photo reference to street photo reference. We also have a selection of animals on our site. We have some costumes, we have weapons, armor. We also have 3D scans of bodies and heads, clothing, animals, all the aforementioned above, and 3D maps and textures. Welcome to this episode where we're going to be exploring the oral cavity and how to do that inside ZBrush before you've done any kind of retopology. So first of all, I'm going to start off by masking out a part for the front, the top and the bottom of the lip, sorry. So to do this, I might actually go to this view. Using my mask tool, I'm just gonna mask off some of this area for the mouth. Don't get confused with the chin. The chin's down here, the mouth's up here. Okay, now that I have that, I'm gonna work on the top part first. I'm just trying to get rid of everything that is the bottom part of the lip. This is done for later, so we can get back the detail of the lip. We're going to make a massive hole in another mesh. Okay, let's try just making this into a poly group. Okay, forgot about this area. Maybe it's a little bit too much on the bottom lip here. You're gonna have to be quite careful about this. What you can actually do is you can invert the mask, work on it from there a little bit, so you can see a bit more what's going on. Don't think that's so necessary. Okay. Maybe here a little bit. Okay, let's invert the selection again. Let's try grouping this now. Group mask. To see how that's done. Okay, so it's not done too well. And that'll be because the topology isn't enough for the mask. So what I might do is I might just turn it up to another notch. There's a little bit here that needs coming back into place. Might just need a bit more topology to be able to get a clean mask off this. It was just checking something there. Can only go so far, really. Let's just try grouping this again. Group mask. Let's try inverting the selection and just seeing how that's done. Okay. So, from what it looks like, I need to maybe sharpen the mask a little bit. Blur it out a little bit, sharpen it. Now we can try polygroups, group mask. Okay, let's try selecting that. Try deselecting it. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm pretty happy with that for now. I'm going to mask this, I'm going to invert the selection, and I'm just going to group mask. Don't really want all these extra little bits. Merge stray groups. That might not do what I want it to do. Okay, so I just exited that as it caused my computer to crash a little bit because it has to merge so many groups. It did try and do it, but I'm going to go back and we're just going to leave it like that for a sec. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to deselect this. Now it's a bit easier this time. And we're just going to mask the bottom lip. I don't know why I have so much trouble with that word. Sorry about that. Turn off line fill. Just where that kind of bit there is. Probably is the best idea. Okay, now we're going to group this. Now what we should have when we unhide the other one is two parts. A bottom and a top. Now what we can do now is we need to create a duplicate. So let's duplicate this. Okay. Now switch over to the other subtool that you just duplicated. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create a massive hole where these two subtools are, basically. So you can just select them, deselect them. And I think the best idea is probably to create a hole out of these. I'm actually first going to go back down to a lower geometry as I don't need that high geometry anymore. The first thing I want to do is I want to create a duplicate. I want to kind of go around this area like this. And I want to choose a part where I know that, okay, so this is where the mouth is going to, the opening of the mouth is going to end. Okay, so let's say it's like here on this side, and say here, maybe here, maybe more like here on this side. Actually, it'd be more like here. The reason I want to do that is because I don't want to make the mouth hole too big. So I'm just gonna kind of create a shape based on that. Okay, so maybe I can make this a tiny bit bigger. Maybe a bit more like a bit more circular. Kind of make this match up a little bit. You want it to be quite a nice shape. Not going to be too deformed. That's just like a rough estimate, really. Doesn't have to be symmetrical, but symmetrical enough. You can turn on symmetry at this point and see if you can get a kind of some kind of symmetry going on, which it seems like I can. Okay. So I'm gonna turn off symmetry now and I'm gonna just go with this. Let's press Ctrl I to invert the selection. Let's go to the Move tool. Turn off Lock Unlock. And let's just center this to the unmasked mesh center. And let's just move it back. Hide the other one so you can see what's going on here. So you can see that I've kind of moved it back. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go like this and just kind of smooth this out a little bit. That moved it way too back, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Dynamesh. Maybe turn this down to, let's say, 600. No, do not freeze multiple subdivision levels. I'm going to smooth it out from here a little bit. Gonna just get a standard brush out and just kind of press the Alt key to kind of maybe try and get this a bit more even. Doesn't matter that this is smoothed out right now. Okay, we can do another Dynamesh. Smooth it out a bit more. Do another Dynamesh. Just kind of smooth this out a little bit. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to roughly put this in a place a bit closer to where that mouth is. So if I just go to transparency, you can see this a bit better. I might just use symmetry for a while here. Okay, just moving the lips down into place. Now, I don't want it to be exactly where they are, as it can cause problems. Let me just go to Dynamic Solo. Okay, let me just move up this area. Okay, and now I'm just going to smooth it out again a little bit. Smooth it out again. Okay, now I'm going to use my inflate tool to just kind of inflate this out a little bit. Kind of make it a bit more lip-like. Now I can go back to Dynamesh again. Kind of smooth this out. Just keep smoothing until you've got a kind of... What we want to achieve here really is... So where is the top lip on here? Okay, so it's about there. So we also want the bottom lip to also be about there. Just Dynamesh it there. Maybe move this forward a little bit. Move these parts forward. These need moving quite a lot more forward. Okay. Just Dynamesh that again. Kind of move that here. Move this up. Move this here. Let's have a look on Dynamic Solo right now. Okay, so what I want to do is I kind of want to inflate this area a little bit. And then Dynamesh that. And that's starting to give us a shape that we kind of want. So now what we want to do is we want to go back to this. As you can see, they're quite different right now, but we can get all that detail back in a second. So go back to the previous one, turn on Dynamic Solo. And what we want to do is basically, first I want to move the subdivision level up a little bit so we can get a better mask. Okay, I'm just going to get this area. We're just going to mask off the bottom lip. Just the bottom. Turn off symmetry. Get that bit back in there. This is just a process of trying to get those two bits separated. Also going to add a bit of extra part of the lip here. So now what I want to do is I want to go to masking. I want to sharpen the mask. Maybe blur it out a little bit. Sharpen, sharpen. And just check where that leaves us. Okay, maybe a little bit too much masking going on here. You really want these to be separated as much as you can. Okay, I'm going to say that I'm kind of happy with that, so let's sharpen that up. Okay, let's turn that into a polygroup, so group mask, and you can really see what's going on here. So I don't like that so much, so let's just get rid of some of this. It's just this area here. Maybe here. Little area here. Okay, go back to masking. Let's blur the mask a little bit. And sharpen it. Sharpen, sharpen, sharpen. And let's try that again. Group mask. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm fairly happy with that. Now you can just invert the selection. Actually, is that masked? Yep. You can now invert the selection. Mask all this area off. So just kind of go like this. Actually, that might not work out too well. Let's just I'm just worried about the inside, but I just remembered this part doesn't really have an inside, so that's fine. Gonna mask all this area off. Mask all this area off. So I should be able to just invert that selection and group mask. And that should be fine. Now they should be split into two different parts, which I should be able to use quite nicely. So the whole goal of this now is, so I only show this. So this is the bottom lip, let's say. And I use that. So if I turn off dynamic solo, I use that as only for my bottom lip when I do my projection. So I can kind of move this down. Maybe move this down a little bit. Kind of check where that end is. Turn off transparency so I can see. Smooth it out a little bit. Maybe move this out a little bit. Just trying to see where that lip kind of ends. I may just have to go back up to this and just kind of have a look at that. Kind of around here, I want to say. Turn off symmetry. Forgot about that. Now what I want to do is I want to inflate this. Smooth it out a little bit. And I just want to project. That should give me a starting point. Smooth it out a bit. Project. Smooth it out a bit. Project. 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 Now let's go to dynamic solo and see how this is working out. Kind of want this to kind of go more towards the edge, to be honest. So more like this, if I can. Maybe this one a bit more towards this edge. Try projecting again. Okay, now I can go back to my Dynamesh. Let's Dynamesh this. And let's project again. Okay. Now let's go back to here. Let's invert the selection. Or actually, perhaps we should just select the bottom lip. Go back to this. And move this into place. Turn off dynamic solo. Now this is a point when you're going to have to also select the part, make a polygroup here for the top of the lip. I mean the bottom of the lip on the other one. Let's just do that now. Let's say that this is the two separations. Let's just group masked. Sorry, let's invert the selection, group masked. Then we can easily select this. And we can move it up without interfering with the other ones. So we're going to cut this video short here, and we're going to just carry on in the next episode. See you then. Welcome to the end of this tutorial. Feel free to comment with feedback and suggestions below, and also comment on what you would like to see in future videos. Thanks and goodbye.